He's the best. So we're getting close. What excites you about this year? Not college football in general, but this year specifically.
That's a good question. I think that there's more teams this year that have a shot to win, or not win, but get to the college football playoff than we've seen coming into a season in recent history, even with Michigan and Cincinnati coming in and crashing that party last year. Look at the Utah Utes right now with Cam Rising at quarterback. No one's talking about that team, and that's the way Kyle Whittingham loves it. I mean, they're one play away from beating Ohio State. In the Rose Bowl. That's your reigning Pac-12 champs. And they got a lot coming back. So they're going to start preseason top 10. So they'll have a shot. So I think there's probably coming into the season close to a dozen teams that I wouldn't be surprised if they ended up in the college football playoff, where normally coming into a year, you cut that number in half.
Yeah.
That's why, I was surprised that we had 2 crash that party last year.
Billy Napier, welcome to the SEC. Utah's coming to your place to start
Week
the season.
1. And you know what's crazy about that one? Dan Mullen was on the 04 staff at Utah with Kyle Whittingham. And so that's how that game came about. But Dan Mullen couldn't stand recruiting. They want to go tell some mom in some kitchen how great her ham sandwich was, right? So he's no longer there. And Billy's got to deal with that, because that was a game that was made by the ADs and the 2 coaches, because they still talk all the time.
Yeah.
So Witt's still recruiting his butt off. Dan didn't give a damn about it. Dan's out, and Witt's coming down with a loaded squad into the swamp.
All right, so you say it feels like more teams have got a shot. We know that college football playoff expansion is coming eventually, whenever the idiots that can't get their heads together, and we get to 12 teams. Does that open it up even more? I don't know if it changes the number of teams who can actually win it. I think there'll be a whole lot more people invited to the party, which is going to be fun, right?
Yeah, but I think it's, to your point, though, the second part of that, I think that's still going to be the common theme. You might have, like Brian Kelly told me yesterday, that he expected to be around 50 teams in these mega conferences. And I think it's going to end up with probably 3.
Okay.
You're already 32 deep with just the SEC and Big Ten alone. We both know they're not done yet. Wherever Notre Dame ends up, Clemson's got an eye. They kind of have a wandering eye right now. UNC, we all know, has got a wandering eye right now. And so does Florida State. So you look at Oregon and Washington. I mean, Phil Knight's cold calling college commissioners. If you hadn't seen that story, folks, go Google that. This is one of the most powerful men in sports
globally.
And he is cold calling conference commissioners. Because he doesn't view Oregon, and they shouldn't be viewed as an afterthought. They've been in the college football playoff.
Yeah.
They've contended for national championships. And you look at the state of that program and that brand behind it, you think they're going to sit there and go, hey, Phil, Kevin Warren here from the Big Ten. We're waiting on Notre Dame. We'll give you a call when we have an answer on this one. It's going to be bleep you, Kev, and he's going to go seek life elsewhere. So I don't know how it all is going to shake out, but you're going to have the same contenders. Those aren't going to change. Coming in each year, I'd probably say, like I mentioned, it's 6 to 8 that I think have a legit shot to make the college football playoff. This year, I think it's a little bit deeper, but traditionally, even with the new landscape and the music stops and whomever's sitting in whatever chair and whichever team's got left, on the outside looking in, you're still going to have the same familiar faces that are going to be contending for the college football playoff and the national championship. And I don't think that year in, year out is really going to run more than 12 deep.
So you live in Dallas. You're right there in the heart of what has been Big 12 country, is becoming more SEC country, and who knows what it's going to be going forward. I look at where the Big 12 sits, and I'm saying I'd rather be in that spot than the spot the Pac-12 is in. Am I crazy for thinking that?
No, I agree. And I had a long conversation with Brett Yormark, the new commissioner over there.
What'd you think of him?
Whew.
Impressive?
He's going to be aggressive. I mean, he's either going to build the Big 12 into that third mega conference we're talking about.
Yeah.
Or he's going to burn it to the ground trying.
Oh,
I mean, it's going to be alpha and omega,
no in
man.
between.
I mean, there's nothing in the middle. I mean, it's 0 to 100 and 50's forgotten about. I mean, I promise you. He is going to be extraordinarily aggressive.
Is that a mindset from working with a guy like Jay-Z? You think that's where that comes from, or is that just how he's wired?
Yeah, a bit. And I mean, and he was part of NASCAR back in the day. He has a very wide, broad background.
Yeah.
And he's going to use every asset he's got. And he invoked Bob Bowlesby's name 4 different times. And Bob Bowlesby did a remarkable job as a Big 12 commissioner, holding that thing together with spit glue and damn duct tape. I mean, it was twice. he had to do it twice. Yeah. So he's going to lean heavily, even when Bob is out in 9 days as acting commissioner. He's going to lean heavily on him for advice. And I'll tell you one thing, though. He took a good, hard look at what Commissioner Phillips and Kleofkoff in the ACC and Pac-12 respectively, what they didn't do. And that was be aggressive. They were passive. You know, I mean, they didn't do anything. And a bigger fault, they were trustworthy. They actually believed that stupid alliance that they made with the Big Ten, which was about as strong as wet paper mache, man. I mean, they are newborns that have more strength than that alliance had. And they trusted. You can't trust. If you're a conference commissioner right now in college football and college athletics, you don't trust anyone that isn't on your immediate staff. You don't trust your schools. See Texas and Oklahoma. See USC, UCLA. You don't trust anybody. You trust the man in the mirror and your top lieutenants, and that's it. And he is going to either devour the Pac-12 or get devoured trying to do it.
So this is more philosophical in nature. So I'm sitting here thinking, why is it that I can sit in Oxford, Mississippi and do a radio show statewide and make fun of what I call alliance of very, very, very good friends for a year? And they can't see the trap that they're walking into themselves.
We all saw it last year.
Of course we did. So here's my philosophical question, Ed Allard. I can't believe that Mark Emmert, based on what he's accomplished in his career, is actually a moron.
No, look, Mark Emmert was never.
But are these guys so close to it that they just can't see?
Richard, Mark Emmert, I don't even refer to him as when he was the director of the NCAA. He's not the outgoing director of the NCAA. He's just direct deposit. All that dude cared about was his $2.8 million that got direct deposited into his checking account. That's it. Done. He didn't care about the game, didn't care about the fans, didn't care about the sports, nothing. He played the role of scapegoat remarkably well, and he got paid a lot of money to do it, to be hated by everybody coast to coast, border to border, that are college.
But you don't think he walked into that job the day that he got hired to be the president of the NCAA and said, you know what, I'm going to see what I can do to suck every single day? Because you don't build your career. I mean, he was a president.
You almost have
at
to
LSU
try to do it.
And the president at Washington.
Yeah, look, I mean, you almost have to try to do it, and he did it well. So, and
has been compensated.
Yeah, and he's made a lot of money being the scapegoat, and he doesn't care. Look, with NIL, he could have put governors on that damn thing. He could have said, here, every school, here's your salary cap. You got $3 million a year to spend.
But
right?
Back up a second.
He didn't do that. He didn't care. And he knew what the outcome was going to be. We all did, man. We all knew it was going to be used in recruiting, and he put 0 governors on it, 0 rules, 0 regulations, and that's why you've got Jordan Addison getting paid $3 million to leave the ACC champs as a Blitnikoff Award winner and go the highest bidder. And if I'm Jordan Addison, I'm doing the same thing.
Of course.
And anybody listening right now in Oxford, guess what? So you would too. $3 million and mom gets a house on the beach. Hello, goodbye, see ya.
But the larger point, George Kleofkoff doesn't want to be bad at his job. Jim Phillips doesn't want to be bad at his job.
They were just,
and so they make bad decisions. Is it because they're naive? Is it because they were young in the position? Or too close to it?
You have to ask them. But I think they were too trusting, and that's what your Mark, and Sankey. I mean, that man. He is. What we really need is a overall commissioner president of college football. We have needed that for years and years. And maybe with these 3 mega conferences, if it finally happens, and my number one choice will be this guy right here, Greg Sankey. He cares about the game, cares about the fans, cares about the future of the game and the integrity of the game.
And he's smart.
Brilliant.
2022, Ole Miss or Mississippi State? Who do you like more?
Ole Miss.
Why?
Just one, you got some serious athletes over there. You really do. And I know you're going to miss Jeff Lebby. But there's just something about him. I mean, I don't know if I'm drinking the Lane Kool-Aid a little too much. I don't know. Maybe it's that beautiful tan he has going right now. I mean, the cologne, he walks by you, you're like, he's been at the beach. I mean, maybe that's it. I don't know. And I'm a fan of Will Rogers. We all love the Pirates' quirkiness, but it's just maybe I'm just buying the Lane train too much.
Great to catch up with you.
How do you get that tan and look that good?
He has a place in Boca, and
loves
he was
the boat.
Debating whether he was going to Boca or the Bahamas when he left here.
Dezer was at Baker's Bay.
Not a bad spot either.